Now, the Ghana Police Service says it has arrested 3 persons in connection with the alleged disappearance of one Josephine Mensah. The police say Josephine Mensah is also being treated as a suspect as they investigate a case of possible self-kidnapping. A statement issued reveals thorough investigations by the medical experts show that the woman was not pregnant in the period under review. Let's take a look at the statement. Of course, this is headed Reappearance of Missing Pregnant Woman at Takoradi in the Western Region. 1. The police in Takoradi in the Western Region can confirm the reappearance of one Josephine Mensah. 2. On the 21st of September 2021 at about 9:30, when she reappeared, she was immediately sent to the Axim Government Hospital for medical attention. We also informed the family in line with our procedures. 3. Since her disappearance, over 40 police officers were specifically assigned to track the whereabouts of the victim, and the family were given regular updates on police operations regarding this issue. 4. These police operations with the associated investigations were carried out on a 24-hour basis, and we want to commend the officers who have been working on the case for the commitment, including the sleepless nights they endured. 5. Following her reappearance and on the basis of our preliminary investigations, so far the police wishes to state the following. A. Police is heavily relying on medical experts who have examined her. Their findings are that Josephine Mensah was never pregnant within the period under review, following thorough medical examination by the medical doctors at the Axim Government Hospital. It continues. B. The victim, now a suspect, during interrogation mentioned the European hospital in Takoradi as the hospital for her antenatal reviews and assessment. Medical records at the facility suggest that the lady visited the hospital without pregnancy somewhere in October last year. C. Investigations also suggest the suspect may have conspired with other persons over her possible planned disappearance. D. 3 people have so far been arrested for further questioning on possible conspiracy charges. E. Police would like to inform members of the public that adequate measures are in place to ensure she is safe as we continue our investigations. Point number 6. More worrying is the fact that for a number of years, the Regional Command has recorded several false kidnapping cases where people conspire to create self-kidnapping incidents to make money out of ransoms. 7. A team with support from the national headquarters has been put together to quell this emerging crime in the Western region. And 8. We wish to give the assurance that we will continue to revise our security strategy to protect the people of the Western region and the rest of the country. And this, of course, is signed by ACP Kwesi Ofori, who is the Acting Director General for Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service. Now, this afternoon, there have been protests at Zenith, which is a popular area in Takoradi where the woman at the center of the kidnapping incident operates a shop. Neighbors are incensed by the statement from police this afternoon declaring the woman as a suspect in an alleged self-kidnapping conspiracy. Now, our correspondent in Athalia Kwansa was there. She brings us this report.
When did you start? You don't say to one for latter. Latter one for. Latter one for. Right, you know that none of the son one go kidnappers in one for. Can the pure hospital. What you see it and believe it. They will not look at that. And the other child there, Japata, the woman you come. He said, another one, he said, letting it in anyhow. And everyone got a penny on you, son. Yama would you go? Nanano, your floor. Your family trouble from your floor. Yama won't sound. Now, so your farm, Yadamo. Why then there? Some of your level there. Say your friend, your friend and Anum, your friend paying for. That's a painful. Say, well, I'm here to quite a paying listener. I did for me. One far, that's what for Abuano Abla when you jade. Say, regional minister, only Mr. Semu, on an assemblyman, and I look for Mr. Semu. That's what to be John Cadet. Say, oh yeah, then a penny on you say, regional minister, now go to your senior on in there.
Apparently, they have also seen the reports by the police, and they say that they are not happy with what the police is doing. They have just poured a libation and said some words of care on anyone who is said to have, said that Josephine is not pregnant. The family still stand on that. They can't believe that their daughter, their relative is pregnant. They said they will go to any length to make sure that they prove what they are saying.
Earlier today on News Today, I spoke to ACP Kwesi Ofori. Here's what he said.
Knowing a conspiracy theory that we suspect. And as I speak to you, we are investigating that matter. But to recap our position, is that on the 16th of September 2021, when Josephine Mensah was alleged to have disappeared, we quickly marshaled a 40-member team to locate her. A lot was done in that respect. We did a lot of media engagement. We did a lot of media intervention to assist to locate this lady. And lo and behold, the public assisted. Immediately, we sent her to the immediate government hospital, that is the Exim government hospital, where she was treated. There are follow-up stories in the media, social media, among others, saying she had delivered and the baby had been taken away by someone. The police quickly asked the medical authorities to conduct a thorough investigation to determine whether she was pregnant and now delivered. And men of competent mind and knowledge at the district hospital quickly conducted that investigation and reported to the police in writing that there was nothing of that sort and that she was not pregnant and has not delivered per their medical details and practices. Right. In view of this, we further questioned, and the lady in further said she had all her antenatal treatment care, among others, at the European hospital, being the regional medical facility at Takoradi. Investigators proceeded to the hospital, and records available indicate that the last time she visited the hospital was October 2020 and reported an ailment and has nothing to do with pregnancy. So by so doing, there is no record as she claims. And we are suspecting a conspiracy theory, and we are investigating this matter we moved her position from victim to suspect. And so far, we've arrested 3 people.
Right. And have you arrested her husband?
All that is, the police are at the moment investigating this matter seriously. And in our second update, we might come out with those we've arrested. But we would like to state one thing, that we rely heavily on expert opinion. It is not the police that is saying she was pregnant. She was not pregnant and he has not delivered. It is an expert opinion, and these doctors are members of GME, Ghana Medical Association, and by the law, evidence, and the criminal procedure, makes police to rely heavily on expert opinion. Should even the matter appear before a court of competent jurisdiction.
ACP Kwesi Ofori speaking to me earlier. Now, our correspondent in Natalia Kwanzaa has been all over this story from the very beginning. She joins us now via Zoom for more and, of course, the latest developments. Thank you for your time in Natalia. So, what exactly is the latest now? We know what the police have said. We've heard from the family members. Have they moved any further towards each other?
No, Kojo, as of the last time I checked, nothing really new has happened. The family are still just holding on to what they think is a pregnancy. That's the perception they are holding on to. They did hint of a press conference they were going to organize tomorrow. So for now, there is nothing new.
Now, when you were with the community and the family members at the time, they were incensed and throwing curses. They were insistent that Josephine Mensah was pregnant. What were they pointing to as their evidence of this?
Yes, Kojo, so they kept on saying that they saw her pregnancy from day 1 till the 9th month. I asked them, where is the antenatal booklet that she used to go to antenatal with it? And they were saying something like on the day that she went missing, she had it on her while going for the walk. And that is something they said. I asked them, so where does she usually go for her scans? Do they have evidence of her scan to prove that she was indeed pregnant? But they couldn't prove any of this. All they said was Josephine will be in the best position to tell us where she goes for her scan and where her antenatal book is. So for them, they are only basing their claims on the fact that they've seen her tummy protrude over the months. But they are not saying that based on any medical examination or any facts. They couldn't show me anything, either an antenatal card or something to, say that indeed she was pregnant. But we're saying this based on what they have seen over the months.
Is Josephine Mensah's husband still around?
Well, when I went to the house this morning, the family members were claiming that the police have arrested him and his mother-in-law. So I did not meet him in the community. I did not meet him in the lady's family house. I did not meet him in his own residence as well.
Right. So at this point, the members of the community are insistent in spite of the police's statement. Have they issued any ultimatums? Are they calling for any action?
They haven't issued an ultimatum, but what I know was that they said tomorrow they are going to hold a press conference at 12 midday. And so for now, we wait, cross our fingers to see what happens tomorrow.
Natalia Kwanzaa, thank you so much for that update. She, of course, is our Western Regional correspondent. Right now, let's go over to the phones where Member of Parliament for Wa West, Superintendent retired Peter Lanchene Tubu, who was the former Executive Secretary to the former IGP David Asante Apietu, joins us. Superintendent Lanchene Tubu, thank you for your time. perhaps we can get some education from you on police procedure, because we keep seeing in the statement, initial preliminary reports, it would appear that the police themselves are not yet firmly at a conclusion of what has happened, yet they are issuing statements. Is this the norm?
Thank you very much, Kojo. Good afternoon to our cherished listeners this afternoon and the viewers. Unfortunately, that my constituency, the network is a bit bad. I wish I could have been on Zoom. But all the same, let's try to see what we can do to contribute a little bit of education to support the investigation of this case. Ghanaians are quite interested in this matter because kidnapping in the region is becoming a bane. It's a serious matter. And in fact, it is a security concern for the police as well as the citizenry. So anything about kidnapping should be of interest to all of us. Police procedure is simple. You take the lead, act on the information, and try to gather enough evidence to prove that there is a crime committed or otherwise. Basically, that's what we do. In criminal investigation, it's supposed for you to have evidence to prove that a particular crime has been committed. If the elements of the crime cannot be found, the ingredients of the crime cannot be found, at least you have investigated, and you can advise otherwise. The policing is not just all about enforcing the law. Sometimes it's also about educating the people to understand the position of the law and the role that the police play in enforcing these laws. The Takoradi case is quite an interesting one, and I've been following. What happened in Takoradi? Somebody is alleged missing or reported missing. Of course, the job of the police is to protect life and property. The police will be interested. And the police will go all out to find out how can a whole human being get lost. One, was he kidnapped? Was she murdered? What happened? Has she run insane and probably she's lost unconsciously? Whatever the challenges are, the police will have to investigate to unravel the mystery. And I've been told that the police regional commander said they deploy over 40 people to support community members in search of Josephine. And finally, Josephine was found somewhere around Axim. Now, the controversy is whether she disappeared pregnant and reappeared without a pregnancy, or she never had a pregnancy at all and she disappeared. The other issue had to be, was it a stage matter? Was it a pre-planned thing? Did they pay ransom before she was released? Is she in link with the criminals so that they can pay ransom and they will later on share? Is she a traumatized person who will require some time to be able to be very sane for us to interview her? The fact that she said she attended European hospital, at the point that she was making this statement, is she lucid enough? Is she stabilized enough to be able to make a statement that can help the police? On the other hand, a pregnancy is a common thing, my brother. Unless otherwise stated. If you are pregnant in the community, everybody knows that you are pregnant. And everybody knows that sometimes you are not even the only pregnant person. There are other people who are also pregnant and you attend antenatal clinic together. And all this documentation, I'm sure that if Josephine comes back to her very normal position, she'll be able to help a lot. But let's not intimidate her. Let's not intimidate the family. And let's not cause confusion. And finally, we may lose some of the facts that would emerge. I was a bit surprised to hear the regional minister making an emphatic statement that the lady wasn't pregnant. Even if she wasn't pregnant and it is a statement to be made, it shouldn't be made by a regional minister. You're stifling the effort of the police. Right now, are the police trying to work in defense of the regional minister's position because her credibility is on the line? Or the police are doing a very fair job to unravel the mystery surrounding this whole kidnapping issue? You see, you create doubt in the work of the police. The politician creates doubt because you have made a statement that is so emphatic. And they think that as the chairman of the Regional Security Council, you have a lot of information. But are you the one who is supposed to be speaking? That is the question.
That's an interesting analysis, Mr. Lanchene Tubu. And I'm interested in this aspect. You asked a question. You said, could the police now simply be working to corroborate what the regional minister said? As a former police officer who operated at the very highest levels, executive secretary to the IGP, educate us. Is it possible for the police to put aside all of the facts of a case in a situation where perhaps there might even be a baby in danger somewhere, simply to corroborate what a politician has said? Can the police do that?
My brother, there is nothing impossible under the sun. If you deliberately want to be unprofessional, you can be unprofessional. And if the police want to be professional, you see, criminal investigation now has become so scientific that if you have the science to back you up in your conclusion, when you do a presentation as the position of the police, everybody listening to you will know that the police position is backed by science. It's not just hearsay. It's not just corroborative evidence alone from what people are saying, but there is some scientific base to corroborate what they have gathered so far. I'm sure that if we go through why would the hospital not come and say, was it the only hospital she ever attended? And even in October last year, if she had attended that hospital and they said yes, she came here in October at the time she wasn't pregnant, that hospital is correct because from October to September this year is more than 9 months. What it could mean was that Josephine probably got pregnant after that October. And probably she never went back to that hospital. And probably the state in which she is now, she's not actually speaking as a normal person. Can we allow her to recover? And let's take our time to investigate this because it could have wide-range implications. If actually she has connived with some other people to create this whole thing, for whatever reason it is, we need to unravel it and make sure that we nip it in the bud and stop other like-minded people from going through such things because they create panic in the society and give a lot to the police to do, a lot of unnecessary things for the police to do. You don't create your own crime and stage it, and you have the whole state apparatus getting involved to investigate it. It is quite disappointing. But as to whether the police want to corroborate what the regional minister said, as to whether the police are unraveling the mystery behind it, time will tell. Let's just allow them to do their professional work. And I think that, we have some independence in this whole matter. This is a medical case. It's a medical-related case that will have to be gotten by the police as a piece of evidence for us to be able to conclude on the crime committed or otherwise. So let's allow some time to pass.
Is that your suspicion, though, that perhaps this is all being done to corroborate what the minister said?
That would be a bad suspicion. It's just a statement that I made that it's a possibility, but it cannot be my suspicion. I want to believe that the police will do what is right. And when they do what is right, the evidence will be so telling that any normal person listening to the position of the police will believe that the police have investigated and the facts that have been unraveled is unparalleled and is the truth and nothing but the truth.
But so far, you are not yet convinced that that's what is happening.
So far, the police have not concluded. So my convincing limit is still open.
All right. Now, what would your advice be for the family members? What can they do to ensure that the work of the police is, done to its most professional standard and that the truth is what they get at the end of it?
Thank you very much. Security is a shared responsibility, and I've always said that if we don't share the responsibility, then let's be prepared for all of us to take part in the act of irresponsibility. If we don't share the responsibility, we will not be able to arrive at conclusions that will say that our laws are working. Let the family support the police. Let the police be open. Whoever is involved, let's support the police and arrive at the final conclusion that can make a lot of sense to all of us as Ghanaians. Because this is not a matter that is so complicated to be investigated. All the agencies available to support are available. The family is there, the medical team is there. Whatever the regional minister got his conclusions from to make that statement, the regional minister is there. Let the police do a dispassionate job, and when they draw conclusions, I'm sure if the family do not even believe what the police are doing, there is a possibility to take the woman just into an independent medical facility for them to ascertain, was she ever pregnant before? Was she pregnant for 9 months? Because if you lose your baby after 9 months, there is no way medically you cannot be proven to have been pregnant. So I don't get it. And if she was not actually pregnant, it is very clear that it will be proven. What was she hiding from her husband? To be telling the husband and family that I'm pregnant for 9 good months? What was she looking for? Let's allow investigations to be conclusive. Then we can make a better comment.
Mr. Lanchene Tubu, thank you very much for your time. That, of course, is Superintendent Retired Peter Lanchene Tubu. He's a member of Parliament. He's on the Defense and Interior Committee of the House. All right, let's now speak to Adib Sani. Mr. Sani is a security analyst. Welcome to The Pulse, Mr. Sani. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure, Kojo.
So now, Takoradi is, it's agitated. The community from where this lady comes is up in arms. Help us understand, as we speak, are there concerns to which the police should be addressing their minds? Is there potential for things to go sideways?
Kojo, obviously, we are I don't know whether consciously or unconsciously creating a storm in a teacup, which is completely needless. However, it brings to fore two major issues that needs some critical, analysis. One, this is a rather straightforward, simple case that we seem to have complicated, and we have everybody talking about it. However, there's one thing we need to know, okay? A crime is one thing, and the aftermath, managing it, is another thing. And if care is not taken, the way you manage the aftermath might even...
Right, Mr. Sani, if you can adjust your microphone there, it's difficult to hear you. Can you check that your microphone is unmuted? Right, we may have lost contact with Mr. Adib Sani. We'll seek to re-establish that connection. Mr. Sani, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Mr. Sani? Yes, if you can hear. Yeah, we lost you for a while there. If you can just resume that point from the last 20 seconds of it.
Good.
I think we have some difficulty there. We will fix that line and bring Mr. Adib Sani back to complete his contribution. But I'll tell you what else we can do in the meantime. If indeed the police is accurate and this lady has made up a pregnancy, what could make her do so? Let's speak to clinical psychologist Norte Dria, who joins us via phone. Mr. Dria, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Hi, Kojo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Right, okay, so we're seeing on social media several posts from doctors who claim that this actually happens more often than we think. Sometimes women fake pregnancies. But why?
Right. Kojo, let me just put on record that I'm a bit reticent about speaking on this issue. I think I agree with, one of your callers or respondents.
Mr. Dria, we want to hear you a bit clearer. Can you come a bit closer to your phone? Your voice seems a bit... There you go. Perfect.
Right. So I just want to say that on record, I'm a bit reticent commenting on this because the facts of the case are still pretty fluid. Right? And so to jump straight to what would make somebody do X or Y, I can see where the pitch is, but I want to make it clear that all these are without prejudice to the facts as they emerge.
Understood.
I have heard that a woman went missing. I have heard that a relative or a husband or a spouse received or was told by somebody about a demand for ransom by alleged kidnapping. I have also heard that subsequently the woman has been found or did re-emerge and has been reunited with her family and then subsequently arrested on the basis of preliminary examinations that have been done. Now, the fact is that the understanding we have is that this woman was 9 months pregnant. We all know that the durations of a pregnancy and it may go beyond that. So this is something which is verifiable. Currently, after her reappearance or reemergence, there is no indication or no verified indication of pregnancy. I'm speaking from what I've gleaned from the police statement. So this raises several questions, right? The claim of a ransom demand needs to be verified, and the person who made that claim also is subjected to due legitimate police procedures or criminal or legal procedures. As to the woman, and if we want to go into the realm, Kojo, of why would a woman fake a pregnancy, there are so many reasons which may or may not apply to this specific case. Okay?
Yeah.
So a woman who's having difficulties bearing a child or conceiving and so on and so forth, and nevertheless, either through direct social stigma or self-stigma, may start, some pretensions to pregnancy and so on, right? Again, in this instance, you are looking at somebody who is psychologically disturbed or at least stressed to the point and frustrated to the point that they will fake a pregnancy in response to the factors that I'm, relating, right? That's one side of it. The circumstances of this particular case seem to suggest that there may be some ulterior motive, which is yet to unfold and be verified, right? If that is the case, then you are looking at somebody seeking to gain some illegitimate or illegal or even criminal gain from this process. And that's why I'm saying that these are all speculated and may not necessarily directly apply to the case. We have cases of people who steal babies or baby stealing syndicates, and we know the factors involved there.
Right.
There's a demand for the babies, and of course, there are criminal minds at work. So those are the things we can look at, right? There's a condition where a woman may falsely believe that she is pregnant and may even go to the extent of experiencing some of the physical symptoms to some extent. Again, all of these are physically and clinically verifiable. So the good thing, Kojo, is that this woman is now in the hands of the authorities. I would hope and pray that she's receiving all the support and care whilst the intriguing circumstances are being investigated. I have heard also that the community collaborates this story that she was indeed pregnant. And again, all this is subject to verification.
Okay, now at this point, she is under the supervision of the police. We haven't been told yet whether she's been arrested and charged with anything. When I spoke to ACP Ofori, he didn't give that detail. However, whichever the case may be, the police are saying that they are providing her with psychological counseling. What would you assume to be the state of mind of somebody who is in such a situation right now?
Could you really love me to speculate? It's unprofessional sometimes, the absence of clear facts and details. But really, I did hear that she was able to write down a phone number. I did hear also that at the point that she was, how should I say, she re-emerged or was seen by somebody, she, at that point, momentarily was mute or unable to speak. So that would raise questions as to the mental state of this person at the point, and even currently, as you interviewed me. I do have no doubt that this will be properly ascertained through clinical assessment, both physically and mentally. So we should be able to arrive at that. If there's any reason to believe that at any point in time, in the period in question, that she was not in full control of her faculties or that her mental state was compromised, it will go a long way to accounting for the features that we are hearing and seeing. Right. So the important thing is that if she, at any point in time, behaves irrationally or in a bizarre manner and so on and so forth, or we find that her speech, her thinking is incoherent, illogical, and so on and so forth, these are things that they are trained professionals, and I do have colleagues in the central and western region that are well able to do, and there are police psychologists as well. So this can be verified, and then the next steps can be taken. Right. So if they are providing her with the necessary support and counseling, that takes care of that side of it, which could be that she may very well be a victim of her own mental state or the machinations of somebody else or others, or she could be somebody who works or came up with this in collusion with other people. And again, I say this with clear emphasis on not being prejudiced to the lady or the family or anybody involved.
Understood. Mr. Notedua, I want to thank you very much for your time with us this afternoon. Notedua is a clinical psychologist. Right, we're able to reconnect now with Adib Sani, who's a security analyst. Mr. Sani, hopefully our connection is a bit stronger now. If you wouldn't mind just making that point again.
I'm sorry, I should have put my phone on airplane mode. Usually when you're on TV, then they see you, everybody tries to call. I don't know to what end.
Understood.
But that's okay. That's okay. So basically, what I was trying to opine is we are creating a storm in a teacup because of the way we have mismanaged the aftermath of the crime, which I must say could even be injurious to more than even the crime itself. Because in the first place, it's not in the position of the minister to come out to give out that information. I do appreciate the fact that he is the chairman of the Regional Security Council and so should be privy to some information. However, I'm pretty sure that this information was given to him in confidentiality. Unfortunately, in the frenzy of the movement, he had to let it out, which I must say is what has added to the bickering and the issues that has culminated as a result. And secondly, and I think this is food for thought, especially for to the IGP. This whole affair exposes certain dark truths in our society, specifically our relationship with the police. In the past or in other jurisdictions, I mean, amidst all of these bickering, immediately the police comes out with information or a statement that closes the deal. But this is the case. The police has come out to categorically state that, hey, our preliminary investigation has suggested that she's not pregnant and she's no longer a victim, but a suspect. Some other persons have been arrested. But we still have the community coming out in their numbers to say, no, the police is lying and the police is making an attempt to cover up for somebody. All of this is in the wake of the statements made by Mamitiwa Adedankwa some time ago about the Takoradi girls, saying that we know where they are and we're going to find them. In the end, it amounted to nothing. So that has created some kind of a disconnect between the people on one hand and the police on the other hand. Unfortunately, the police should be the institution we should all look up to, and what they say is final. Unfortunately, on this occasion, a lot of Ghanaians don't seem to trust what is coming from the police, and I must say that is quite disturbing.
There has been some speculation that perhaps the police is just trying to tidy up a dirty situation, that this matter somehow invokes memories of the Takoradi girls, and so the police simply want to make it less of a problem than it is, and are therefore seeking to downplay the whole situation. With your experience of security matters, could this possibly be something that the police would engage themselves in?
Well, I'll be shocked if the police, especially under IGP Tampari, engages in such an exercise. Because trust me, if it turns out that indeed the woman was truly pregnant, I'm sorry to say we might have to give up on the police. And I don't think the police would want to risk their reputation when we haven't still forgotten about the Takoradi girls and come out with such information. So for me, I am convinced that indeed the woman was not pregnant. However, this is a rather simple matter we seem to be complicated. And I'm pretty sure that in the absence of that trust in the police by the people, when this issue goes to court, the court would order an independent, so to speak, medical laboratory or practitioner to conduct an independent test to ascertain the truth. So it brings up, it brings the matter to a halt. Unfortunately, it is quite sad that the police has come out with this information, and still we have a lot of Ghanaians not trusted in the police. I have personally gone on social media to gauge moods. I've gone to your social media page, and I mean, when you look at the comments, the kind of things people say, the conspiracy theory, the needless bickering that has characterized this rather simple issue is quite disturbing. And I think that IGP Tampari has a lot of work to do in restoring the trust of the people. If not, it will be difficult for them to exercise or fulfill their mandate under the law.
Now, with your expertise in security, at this point, the police are admitting that these are preliminary findings. So even by their own admission, this is not conclusive.
Absolutely. However, you see, you are a communicator, Kojo. So I'm pretty sure you would even be in the best position to really dissect and dissect the whole statement.
I suppose the question I was going to ask, if you don't mind, because our time is running out, forgive me, but the question I was going to ask was, if indeed we are to take this to be preliminary and not conclusive, should the police not still be pursuing the possibility that there is a newborn baby out there somewhere in danger?
Well, Kojo, the thing is, time is of the essence. However, it is quite clear, and that's exactly what I was trying to say. You are a communicator, that the police has concluded on the fact that the woman truly wasn't pregnant. You see, investigation is not like a sports game. You don't give live commentary every step of the way because it has the possibility of compromising the whole investigation. But for the fact that the police comes out to give such an important information means one thing and one thing only. They have concluded, and that is their fact from their side. It is left for a court to decide what to do next, and perhaps we will get a lot more guardians to trust or believe in that process.
Mr. Adib Sani, thank you very much.